What is up, YouTube? KM888 here, and today I'm here with my Pendulum Magician deck profile. I've been to London, I've tested a couple of things, things didn't go well, they went well, I've changed my deck up afterwards, and right now I'm in a build where I've yet to lose a match. So I'm actually pretty happy about this build, and that's actually the only reason that I really wanted to show it. I want to go over the deck, and well, most of it is standard, so I won't be doing much explanation for the standard things, but when I come across things that I do that other players don't, I will definitely explain it and how it actually works in the deck. Why did I opt for that option, etc, etc. But now for the deck, I'm going to go over it. Main deck is 42. For me, I don't know how it is for other people, but when I play the deck at 40, I always brick. I don't know why, I don't know how, it just feels that way. I brick so much, it's not funny anymore. So most of the time I'm gonna go with 42 card builds for Pendulum Magician, because I just like it more that way. I hardly ever brick because of it. It's weird, but it is what it is. So yeah, for the main deck, I'm gonna go over the monsters first. Triple Harmonizing, the Magician lineup is fairly standard. Triple Wisdom, double Purple, double Black Fang, double Oath Dragon, and the one Janky Magician. I'm not playing the Dragon Pit Magician. I really dislike it. Sure, it has its niches, it's a high scale. And some people use it for when going second. If you have another magician in the scale, you can discard the Dark Worm and pop a back row. But I just feel it just doesn't happen enough. It's not consistent enough to actually make it in the deck. And the fact that you want to special it from the Harmonizing, so you can make a Absolute and go to Vortex, that would actually be nice. But you already have the Janky, and sure, if you desire it away and shit happens, yeah, it will happen, but not all the time. And I just think the consistency of not running the Dragon Pit is far outweighs the fact that I don't play it, and there's more consistency in the deck. You'll see later on in the profile that I already run some cards that aren't pendulums, so the consistency is a little bit down because of that. So I'm not running the Dragon Pit as well. I really don't like it in this build, so yeah, I'm not running the Dragon Pit. I'm liking the Magician lineup as it is. Of course, I'm running one additional Magician, but it's in the Chronograph package. So you have the triple Chronograph, you have the Time Gazer Magician. I actually really like this. It's not as bad as people think if you draw it. Most of the time you'll just normal summon it, go into the Electromite and go from there. But the fact is, when you Pendulum Summon, you can Pendulum Summon this with, from your extra deck. And then if you have the Harmonizing, you can go into otherwise Meteor Burst Dragon and have a level 7 that way. And doing it in that order is actually pretty good, because it helps. It really helps putting up your negates. This one engine, of course we're playing triple Cerberus, the double Jackal King. I'm running triple Desires in the deck, so you can't afford cutting anything down. Triple Dark Worm and double Gate. I've opted to play one in London, and I've missed the second one a couple of times. So yeah, that shit happens. But yeah, now I'm just playing 2 again, and I'm really not complaining about it. It's really good playing it at 2. And of course, for the last 3 monsters, triple Apex Avian, best chicken of the game. If you don't want to see 3 in your opening hand, of course, because then you'll break your Pendulum engine and you can't go further. But you're playing 3 just to see 1. If you have 2, you can still play with the 3 cards most of the time. It'll happen that you brick because of that, but I like it at 3. The card is just too bunkers. Summon it out with the Chronograph so you can negate any kind of hand trap. And you can even normal summon this to get an additional negate later on in the turn. I've had a couple of games where, first of all, I summoned it out with the Chronograph before Pendulum Summoning. My opponent just wanted to get rid of it, so he used a card on it. Went back to my hand. I still had the option to Pendulum, so I just Pendulum summoned it out again. At that point, he returned into my hand yet again, and I just tributed 2 monsters to summon it again, and that was too much for my opponent. I had triple avians in 1 turn because of that. Might seem weird that my opponent tried to lure it out, but yeah, he had some other options. He really wanted the avian to be gone, so yeah. But anyway, 3 avian is really the card to go to. It's an amazing card. For the rest, triple Pot of Desires, I swear by 3. A lot of players are like, oh, you have to play 2, it will put your risks down that you draw into another one, and stuff, etc, etc, stuff like that. If you get ashed, it's terrible. Yeah, that's true, but drawing this in your opening hand is so powerful. You have to play 3. The chances of not bricking really outweigh the chances to draw this if you play 3. And it's an amazing card, just play 3. Triple Pendulum Call. Even against Thunder Dragons, this isn't total bad. You run over their field pretty easily, I find. With the extra deck options that you play, Boral Sword, Supreme King Dragon. Having 1 of these isn't really terrible. Having 2 of this could brick at that point, but I've had it at London that I opened with 2, and I still made my bolt and OTK'd my opponent, who was playing Thunder Dragons, and he had double Colossus out, so it's not that I've been able to use these. But yeah, having these is so much more powerful against all the other decks, so you have to play 3. I'm not playing Duelist Alliance though, I'm not playing any of the Pendulum Graphs. I hate it when I go up against Thunder Dragon, and then you have like this in your hand, you have the Duelist Alliance, the Star Pendulum Graph, you can't do anything. The Time Pendulum Graph is actually pretty fun to have against the deck, but I've noticed that it kind of makes you brick sometimes in the fact that you don't have another pendulum, so you really want to be able to pendulum summon, and don't running the pendulum graphs actually helps against certain matchups, so yeah. Double Dragon Shrine, Dark Worm is Bay in this deck. I mean, just go to Dark Worm, get your gate 0, you have 0 scale already. Something that you can pop even under Pendulum Call, which is always amazing, so. The 1 Foolish Burial, again you want to see that Dark Worm faster, but it is what it is. The 3 cards are actually enough, you don't need a 3rd Shrine or anything. At this point, this is 39, and the last 3 cards of the deck aren't spells. It's my own option that I added in, it's Triple Impermanence. People might think I'm crazy for playing Impermanence in Pendulums, but it is FTK's metagame. Like, it has been that for a couple of months, always a different FTK, different things. It's all really terrible, and I feel like deep down you have to run some form of hand trap. For if you aren't going first, you need to have some kind of base in your main deck. Like off the siding, it's sure you'll have your hand traps, but if you don't draw it there as well, you're gonna lose. So I want to have at least a chance to stop them going second in game 1. Just for the fact that I don't want to rely all the time on game 3. And the Impermanences are really good for that, because even under Azathoth, you can play this. There are only a couple of hand traps in the game that stop the danger FTK. You have Draw and Lock, which is probably the best choice, I think, together with Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. But the fact of the matter is, Pendulum is a deck that already has a full extra deck, and if you cut something out, there are like 5-6 other cards that can easily take its place. And running the Winter Cherries actually makes you play extra deck cards. You don't want that, so playing Winter Cherries in Pendulum is kinda a big no-no. It really sucks that you can't, but you really don't want to play Winter Cherries in Pendulum. The second thing, Draw and Lock, is actually one of the better hand traps, I feel. But I hate how Draw and Lock interacts with the rest of the meta. It's decent against Sky Striker, it's decent against Trickstar, but and Goki, of course Goki. But it's really not that powerful anymore. Just against a Danger FTK, it's a blowout. So In general, I think Impermanence is the only other trap card that actually works, because it also works under the Azathoth. And you can just see how their play goes. Like, if they went for Firewall already and they used the effect to not target the Cannon Soldier in the grave, you know they're going to try and reshuffle it into the deck, into the extra deck with the Unicorn. So if you just hit the Unicorn at that point, they can't get their Cannon Soldier back from the graveyard, they can't OTK you, they can't FTK you, of course. And then you can just go from there, and knowing that they can't go for the FTK is so freaking good. Also, this card isn't once per turn, just if you have two, you can stop the FTK pretty easily. It's in my eyes the best one there is. Secondly, against Thunder Dragons, you really want to stop the Titan, so you can just Impermanence and go from there, and then OTK. And the last thing why this card is really good, it also stops spells and traps in the same column if this card is set first. It's really important because if you're going first and you draw this, it is another interruption. It's another interruption first of all for monsters, but if you play it right, you can actually negate spells and traps, which is amazing. I've had a Thunder Dragon matchup where I opened 3 Impermanence. It was terrible. I opened 3, I did have the desire, so I still was able to Pendulum Summon, but my play was Avian, Dweller, and set these 3. That seems awful. Avian, Dweller, and set 3, but my opponent didn't know I was playing Impermanences, so when he eventually went for the Thunder Dragon Fusion, he had a monster on his field. I just triggered the Impermanence that I needed to negate the monster, and in the same time negate the spell or trap that he played. Sure, maybe he didn't think about it, that he should play it in the Pendulum scales, so it wouldn't be negated by Impermanence, but what Pendulum player plays Impermanence? Well, me. I really like the card. I think it should be a staple to play at least one hand trap in the main deck. I've chosen for Impermanence. The card works wonders and it won me games on its own. The card is really busted. Also against Mech Knight Invoked, if you have this set, they will often set a spell in their zone, so they can summon the Mech Knight Blue Sky and then get a Surge. So the thing that happens is they trigger their Blue Sky, you go Impermanence, and they can't use their set card anymore, which more than often is the fusion spell for the invoked invocation. So yeah, that actually comes in handy a couple of times, and that wins you games on its own. So yeah. That was it for the main deck. As I said, 42 cards. It might seem a lot for some people, but I really like it, especially with the triple desires. You can just go ham. You have some extra options because of this, and I often end my boards with 5 negates because I have 4 monsters that negate on the board. Well, 3 and a Dweller, or well, something that is like a Floodgate. And then having the Impermanence phase down, it's just as an additional negate, and sometimes if you use it to negate a spell and a monster effect at once, it counts as a double negate, so you have 6, which is actually pretty fun. That was it for the main deck, 42 cards. I'm now gonna go over the extra deck, which probably will turn some heads, but I will explain as I go along. First of all, of course, the Vortex Dragon. It's staple in this deck, I mean, why not, right? I do run the Other Ice Meteor Burst Dragon. I think it's important to run. It gets you over the Sky Striker matchup because they can't trigger the Ray in the graveyard. And it's just good in general. There are still a lot of rogue decks. BA is roaming in Europe. There's a lot of BA, and this card it crashes them over. It's really good to have. Also, it makes sure that I often get 1 negate extra on board, which is really good because you special summon from the Pendulum zones, and the card is actually just busted, I think. It also promotes OTKs with the Absolute Dragon, but we'll get there soon. Then we have the Ignister. I think it's the best Synchro 8 at the moment that we can run. When Savage Strike is there, there's Borreload Savage Dragon, and I'm probably going to take out an Exceed to run the Borreload as well. But the Ignister can't be ignored. Like, the card is way too busted just to spin something away is really, really good. It's just non-targetable removal in general. It's, yeah, just card wins me games. It's, yeah, I can't say anything about it. For Exceeds, we have the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, together with the Vortex, of course. The card is really an OTK machine if you go second with the Meteor Burst. Just negate your smallest monster, get this back, and you're gonna go from there, so yeah. The rank 4 that I make the most, Abyss Dweller. I really make it a case to at least end on Dweller Vortex or Dweller Avian. Like, if you brick, at least try to go for that. One negate with the Dweller. The Dweller is so mandatory right now. If you go first, most of the time it will stop the Danger FTK because of that, because they can't trigger their Bigfoot, their Grapha in the graveyard, their Snows, any of their dangers in general. So they can actually activate a danger and you don't have to fear them hitting a Bigfoot or hitting the Grapha, so they can take down the Vortex. You're just safe because of that. So you can negate any important play with the Vortex or the Avian, and the Dweller is just there as a good measure. Of course, it's also great against True Draco, because True Draco is a very bad matchup, but if you have the Dweller, it's just easy. So yeah. Also, as I said, Europe, a lot of Burning Abyss players. This card really is nuts. That's the first 5. Then Tornado Dragon. I really like Tornado Dragon, foremost because it's also a combo extender, popping the Black Fang to special summon something from the graveyard. But it's just needed against back row matchups, Paleo, Altergeist, stuff like that. And it's also good against Sky Striker because you can just hit the multi-roll. Time Star Magician. I really like this card. It's just an extender. Getting the Chronograph. If you have the Avian, you can negate something, and when something is destroyed, Chronograph, special the Avian back. It's amazing. Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion. Just for OTKs, I think that's standard. Number 101 Silent Honor Arc. I haven't played this in London. I played Norito instead. But I decided to cut a Norito for the 101 because Norito only negates spells and traps, and at the moment there's a lot of monster-based decks in the metagame. You have the Thunder Dragons, which all activate in hand. You have the Danger FTK, which hardly plays any spells and traps. Sure, they have the Beginning of the End, Allures, but negating that, I mean, you want to negate the FTK, of course. I really think Norito wasn't as good. I only summoned it once at YCS London and it didn't really help out. But if I had this, I would have won an additional game, I think. Because it can just take away any Link monster. Its card is so busted, I think, so yeah. Then for Links, we have Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. I don't need to explain that card. I'm playing the Wee Witch's Apprentice over the Lamphorhynchus because together with the Dark Rebellion, it's an OTK against Thunder Dragons if they have the Titan out. Dark Rebellion checks the original attack, not the attack that the Titan will have, so it'll grow up to 6,200, and then with 1,900 from the Wee Witch's Apprentice, it's game. I really think the card's good. It checks a lot of things. Also, you have to keep in mind if it's in the graveyard, you can reborn it with the Black Fang. It's an easy rank 4 play from there, or a Unicorn play. I'm playing the Zephyr Metaltron for the obvious combo. Nightmare Unicorn. I love this card. It's amazing. Again, it's removal to the deck. It just sends back. The card is nuts. It helped so much, and I'm really not cutting it down. It's been helping my matchups immensely. For rank 4s, Link Force, the Boral Sword Dragon, just OTK. I don't think I have to explain that. And then the final card might seem weird, Agave Dragon. I've drawn twice in London because I didn't have a way to do damage. The Agave Dragon would have actually solved both cases. I don't know why. The thing is a generic Link 4, so you can actually make it with the Zephyr Metaltron and anything else. Sometimes you gain life, sometimes you do damage. It's really good, actually. I love it for one. It also helps me in my combos when I have to extend more over the Zephyr Metaltron. And it's been doing good actually. Also the 3000 attack actually comes in handy. And yeah, I don't see why not. I've been playing it a couple of weeks now. Yeah, 2 weeks actually, and it's never been bad. So yeah, that's it for the extra deck. I'm going to show you guys my side deck real quickly. But yeah, with like generic commentary, I guess. Playing triple Ash Blossom, the best hand trap when you're not going against like the FTK, but in general it's like a really good one. Triple Draw and Lock, basically specifically for the FTK and also against Trickstar when you're going second. I like Draw and Lock, I like the Ash Blossom also for the Trickstar matchup. But in general, they're in here to help the Impermanence make the FTK non-lethal, so yeah. Then I'm playing 3 single Pendulum cards because I can search them and they offer some kind of help against matchups. I am playing the one Timebreaker Magician in my side, mostly against Thunder Dragons, because you just want to get rid of the Titan. If you can get rid of the Titan, they don't have an interruption, and you can more than often OTK them. So you just summon this, banish the Titan alongside this, then you're free to go. You can search it with Pendulum Call, which actually makes it easy to get it. So yeah. Of course, Pendulum Call against the Dragon might not be so great, but you can also get it other ways, Electromite, stuff like that. 830 Evil Empowering Dragon. This card has won me games in London. 2 games against BA to be exactly. I've banished Beatrice twice, I've banished Dante, and against Thunder Dragons I actually banished a Colossus, so I could attack over the Titan for game with something else. It's actually a really good card. Just send with Electromite, banish stuff. It's a really great card. If you haven't tried it out, try it out, really. And then the final option for the Pendulum monsters in the side deck is one Mythical Beast Garuda. It's Spell and Trap Destruction that I can search through Mythical Beast Cerberus when they have things like Rivalry and Gozen. It doesn't work, of course, against Anti-Spell Imperial Order, but that's why you have the purple poisons in the main deck. I mean, you can't have an option for everything, I think. Twin Twisters are only just that good because you have to discard a card. But I really like this one at the moment, also because it's a level 4 spellcaster, so you can still summon it under Rivalry when you have other spellcasters, and you can make rank 4 plays with it. And the best thing as well is if you have it in your hand with a Jackal King or Cerberus on the field with some counters, if they summon a monster you can just summon this and bounce it back to their hand. So it's like a mini Kirin in that retrospect. So it's actually pretty decent. It counts as a hand trap in some cases. And then some more spell and trap negations, I'd say. So yeah, mandatory triple Denko, mandatory triple Reboot. That's it for the side deck. I really like the deck as it is right now. As I said, it's been like this for a week and a half. I've played at locals, I've played in online tournaments with people that I know that are actually pretty good. And at the moment I haven't lost a single match, and I'm pretty happy about the build. I've not succumbed to bricking right now, so yeah, I'm actually just loving it. Yeah, that's about it about the deck. Love the chicken, love the impermanence, just do it. And I'm guessing I'm gonna see you guys in another video. So yeah, ciao!